Before all of the ChatGPT revolutions, we started by training our own AI model. We had a team in Ukraine of people that were manually classifying data. We started with an idea that today is so common of analyzing meeting and summarizing meetings and creating tasks. We called it AGI Virtual Assistant, and it took a lot of efforts for us to integrate and to make it working. But then a ChatGPT revolution came, and it came so commodity and part of the Teams and Zoom and any meeting platform has it integrated. So we had to trash it away, sadly. My name is Yoav Crombie. I'm a co-founder and CEO of AGAT, who has developed Pragatix.
This is Code Story, a podcast bringing you interviews with tech visionaries.
Spent 6 months moonlighting.
There's nothing on the back end.
Who share what it takes to change an industry.
I don't exactly know what to do next.
Took many goes to get right.
Who built the teams that have their back.
A company is its people.
The teams help each other achieve
I was
more.
proud of our team.
Keeping scalability top of mind.
All that infrastructure was
Yes, we've been fighting it as we grow.
Total waste of time. The stories you don't read in the headlines.
It's not an easy thing to achieve, mind
Took it
you.
off the shelf and dusted it off and tried it again.
To ride the ups and downs of the startup life.
You need to really want it. Not just about technology.
All this and more on Code Story. I'm your host, Noah Labhart, and today how Yoav Crombie is building a platform centered around AI so you can have smarter workflows, fewer clicks, and full control. This episode is sponsored by Mesmo. If your team is collecting large volumes of logs, metrics, and traces, but still struggling to get timely answers, Mesmo can help. Mesmo is an active telemetry platform that processes and enriches observability data in real time before it's stored or analyzed. That means lower data volume, lower cost, and faster root cause analysis across your existing observability tools. To see how it works, get a demo at mesmo.com/codestory. That's MEZMO.com/codestory. This episode is sponsored by BrainGrid. If you are building with AI coding tools, but your features keep breaking, you need to check out BrainGrid. It is the product management agent for AI builders. BrainGrid turns messy ideas into clear specs, tasks, and prompts that coding agents like Cursor and Claude can actually build the right way. Ship real software, not fragile prototypes. Start free at braingrid.ai. Today's episode is brought to you by .tech domains, and this one hits close to home. Back in 2016, I was building my startup and went hunting for that perfect .com and found next to nothing. So I did what every founder does, settled. Here's what I wish someone had told me. You're building a tech startup, just get a .tech domain. It instantly tells investors and customers what you're about. Don't overthink it. Secure your .tech domain today from any registrar of your choice. This episode is sponsored by Unblocked. Unblocked is the context layer your agents are missing. It synthesizes your PRs, docs, Slack, and tickets into organizational context that agents actually understand. So they make better plans, write higher quality code, use fewer tokens, and require fewer correction loops. If you're running Claude Code, Cursor, or any agentic workflow, Unblocked is worth a look. Learn more at getunblocked.com/codestory. Yoav Crombie was born and raised in Israel, serving in the army for 6 years as an engineer. He's been in the tech industry for 35 years, but doesn't see this work as work. He thoroughly enjoys what he's doing, especially with what is going on with AI right now, specifically around the quick creation process. Outside of tech, he has been married for 30 years. He loves water sports, kite surfing, regular surfing, and paddleboarding. In addition, he loves to cycle and was the Israeli road champion many years ago. Yoav realized that businesses were struggling to implement and adopt AI. In particular, he noticed that there was risk in publicly sharing data. But alongside that, other companies wanted more control of how AI functioned for their company. So his company started to build a solution to solve both of these problems. This is the creation story of Pragatix, a product of AGAT software.
During my career, most of my time I were around cybersecurity. And together with my current partner, we started by developing an application firewall. Specifically, it was for Sky for Business back then. It was a pretty vulnerable product installed on-prem and potentially could give access to attackers to enter the network. Even before that, we started actually with developing a solution for securing emails on mobile. This technology was purchased by Symantec. It was 15 years ago, I think. So we are a lot in the cybersecurity, and most of our experience is with highly regulated customers. We've been able to sell our application firewall back then to 25 Fortune 500, while staying very lean company, very small. We never left our offices. All of our sales were done remotely, even before the age of COVID, and today is pretty straightforward to do everything remote. Back then, it wasn't a common approach, but I liked it. I like where I live. I like to go surfing, cycling. I don't like traveling. And I'm happy I managed to build a company around that. So we started with these type of solutions, with getting good understanding of what does it mean, highly regulated companies. And what does it mean to deploy a product on-prem and all these firewall restrictions and heavy bureaucracy and procedures and pen tests. It's a big challenge to deploy a product in large enterprises, but once you're there, it's typically pretty sticky, so they don't end up changing you very quick. Realizing these companies having struggled to adopt AI, once AI revolution started, it hit us with the idea that we can offer them a platform that enables to use or implement AI in a secure and private way. So the concerns we've seen with our customers are that while using AI, you expose all your data to the model, obviously, and that is very big restriction or risk, I would say, for our type of customers, especially if you're talking about all of your company data being known, let's say, to some AI model outside of your control. For other companies, it was not allowed because of regulations or contracts they signed, like military. But there's also even a population of customers that don't even have any internet access because they are so secure. So these type of customers came to us and brought the idea, how can we enable AI still protecting our data? The other related problem is companies that are comfortable in a way of using public AI like ChatGPT and so on, but had to have visibility and control to what is done with AI, what is the level of sensitivity of the content shared, and to have visibility and control. And this is exactly what Pragatix offers. It offers two approaches. For customers that are highly secure, we offer the AI suite, we call it. It's a set of AI services which is installed without any internet connectivity needed. It can be completely air-gapped. And it connects to your data sources, and it acts like a ChatGPT for employee for your company data. It connects to your emails, to your documents, to your internal sites, everything you have, and you can ask questions, perform searches. And this suite of services evolved beyond just chat, so it calls today, obviously, the ability to run AI agents and anomaly detection, to classify. It's a set of services, and we target it as an enterprise ready. You want AI, you want to use it safely inside, you just deploy Pragatix, and the next day you have already AI working, connecting to your data. And the other part of the product, which is related, is the firewall. So the firewall has 2 or 3 layers, actually. One is about analyzing, giving me visibility and control what your employees are doing, which AI services are they using, what are they using it for, what is the level of the sensitivity. We have now evolving the agent control, so which agents are used, what type of tools they are using, these agents, what are they trying to achieve, and real-time control. And lastly, we have a model risk firewall. So for large companies that have a team of developers, they tend to like to download models from Hugging Face or other sources that potentially can bring all sorts of threats. And we have a firewall that analyzes the model. So it checks, for example, who is behind the model. It runs like a runtime red teaming to find vulnerabilities, whether it's protecting against jailbreaking or prompt injection. So wrapping back a high level, we enable AI. We enable AI for companies that have problems or restriction from using AI. We have a new interesting direction, by the way, which is a side result of the visibility. We can give you like intelligence into adoption. So it's not only about security. Some companies want to know if AI is used effectively in their company. So we have dashboards that showing you who's using AI, what type of usage, and giving like tips and tricks, encouraging users to use it more effectively. And also security-wise, if we detect that users continuously perform risky operation with AI, so we can point them for training or alert the managers and things like that. So we call it behavior intelligence.
Yoav, tell me what you would consider the MVP for Pragatix, right? Like, what would be the first, piece that you built, the first part of the platform that you set out, you built, and then you started to, get some feedback on. Tell me about that process and what sort of tools you're using to bring it to life.
So it's an evolution, to be honest, like everything. And I must say we have changed our product several times during our career, and especially in the AI. So we started with the AI before all of the ChatGPT revolution. So we started by training our own AI model. We had a team in Ukraine of people that were manually classifying data. We started with an idea that today is so common of analyzing meeting and summarizing meetings and creating tasks. It was a very cool product. We called it AGAT Virtual Assistant. And it took a lot of efforts for us to integrate and to make it working. But then a ChatGPT revolution came, and it came so commodity and part of the Teams and when Zoom and any meeting platform has it integrated. So we had to trash it away, sadly. Also, in the flow of the current product, it pivoted a few times. So we started with the AI suite, that's the on-prem. And then I had several conversations with tech leaders. So I met, for example, Checkpoint and other companies, and I realized they're looking for more of an infrastructure, not the solution itself. So that's how the firewall was born. So it was like a conversation I had with a few tech leaders that gave me the direction of the need, and this is how it evolved. And like I'm very heavily involved with customer interaction. I like to do all of these meetings myself. I think my main role in the company is like product management. That's like the area which I also mostly like to do. And I'm very customer-led. So I hear what customers want. I try to build some prototype to show it to them, work in very short iterations, even if it's not fully functional, get short feedbacks and bring it to market as fast as possible. Today with the AI, the cycles are shortened dramatically. So it's so easy today to build a prototype without even knowing to code, which is really astonishing, I must say. So it's very easy to bring something to someone to see.
Today's episode is brought to you by .tech domains, and this one hits close to home. Back in 2016, when I was building my own tech startup, I went on the hunt for that elusive .com. Looked high, looked low, and guess what I found? Nothing. What I did find cost me an arm and a leg. So I did what every founder does under pressure. Threw in extra letters, settled for the less than optimal name. And here's what I wish someone had said to me back then. Noah, you're building a tech startup. Just get a .tech domain. Tech startup, .tech domain. It could not be more obvious. It tells investors, customers, and anyone who looks at your website, really, that tech is at the core of your build. And I've kicked myself plenty since, especially when I see the clean and sharp names tech companies have landed on .tech. Nothing.tech, 1x.tech, Aurora.tech, CES.tech, Ultra.tech, Alice.tech, Neon.tech, Blaze.tech, Pi.tech. You get the idea. So take it from someone who learned it the hard way. If you're building a tech startup, don't overthink it. Secure your .tech domain today from any registrar of your choice. Okay, so you got that MVP built, that first piece of the platform, and you're iterating quickly. I hear that, and you decided to pull that first part of the platform. But at some point, you're getting the traction that you want, or you're heading in the direction you want. How did you go about maturing and progressing the entire platform? And I think it's going to be interesting to hear, based on how many problems you're solving, how you build your roadmap, how you decide what is the next most important thing to build.
It's a mixture of what I like, to be honest. I like to do things I enjoy that are challenging, innovative. For example, right now we're strongly looking into there's a new trend of guardian agents, AI agents. These are agents that control other agents, that they don't mess up the system or don't do things that are insecure. Both me and my partner are very technical oriented. So let's say when the iPhone came into the market and no one really knew what it is about, we were among the first people that developed an app. We, by the way, developed an offline navigation app that was the first top of the marketplace in Israel back then. So we're very driven into technology. Typically, it hits good with the market. So like market likes some innovative solutions, and we obviously not do it just for the fun. Like we do it after we speak to customers and understand the needs. Don't think I have any special answer here to give more than the logic sense that we speak to customers, understand the needs, and develop appropriately.
So then I'm curious about team. How did you build your team? And what do you look for in those people to indicate that they are the winning horses to join you?
First of all, I'm very proud of my team. Most of my core developers are with me 5 to 10 years. It's very not obvious here in the high-tech ecosystem in Israel, where we have surrounded by the big giants, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, whoever, and I'm proud that my employees stick with me, and I take it as an honor. And when I try to look for an employee, I go by a rule which I call the 4H. The 4H stands for humble, honest, hungry, and happy. And this is what I look for. And when I see someone that ticks all the 4 categories, I feel it's a match. And it takes me time to find employees. I'm very fussy about that, but it's like a date. You need to keep trying until you feel it. Like I feel now with 30 years of experience, I'm pretty experienced. I can feel when it's a good fit. I can also say I'm also following 2 other concepts that if you're not sure, it's not. So if you have even a small doubt, it's not. And sometimes, sadly, we need to say goodbye if it's not a match. And also here I have a rule I follow. It's very hard to say goodbye to an employee. But I always ask myself, what would happen? How sad will I be if he'll come to me and say, I don't want to work anymore? If I feel the answer is, I won't be too sad, it's probably not the right employee for me. So these are like, I shared with you, I think, 3 different principles, like how to hire, when to say goodbye, and things like that.
This episode is sponsored by BrainGrid. Building with AI coding tools is exciting until the moment things start breaking. You ask for a small change and suddenly 3 other features stop working. AI gets confused, misses edge cases, and loses track of your intent. The problem is not code generation. The problem is planning. That is why BrainGrid exists. BrainGrid acts as your product management agent. It writes clear specification, maps UX flows, asks the clarifying questions you forgot to ask, and breaks big ideas into engineering-grade tasks that AI coding tools can build reliably. It guides Cursor, Claude Code, Replit, Windsurf, and others so they deliver features that work and keep working. Founders use BrainGrid to build real AI-native SaaS products without a technical background. If you want reliable features instead of fragile prototypes, try BrainGrid for free at braingrid.ai. That's braingrid.ai. This episode is sponsored by Mesmo. If you're responsible for reliability, performance, or platform architecture, you already know the problem. Telemetry volume is growing faster than teams can manage it. Mesmo addresses this by moving observability upstream. Instead of storing everything and asking questions later, Mesmo processes telemetry in motion, filtering, transforming, and enriching logs, metrics, and traces before they reach your observability backend. The result is cleaner data, reduced ingestion costs, and faster root cause analysis using the tools you already rely on. Mesmo integrates with platforms like Datadog, Dynatrace, and open source stacks, giving teams more control without adding operational overhead. This is especially useful for platform engineers and SREs supporting complex distributed systems where context and speed matter. To see how active telemetry works in practice, get a demo at mesmo.com/codestory. That's MEZMO.com/codestory. This will be interesting how you approach this. I'm curious about scalability, right? And that could be technology and it could be people, and both are applicable here. I'm curious about how you approach that in the beginning. And, if there have been interesting areas where you've had to fight it as you've grown.
In our previous line of business, we had a lot of challenges. That's the application firewall. This application firewall was very challenging for two reasons. One, we intercepted other vendors' application, namely Microsoft Teams, WebEx, Skype. So we injected all sorts of scripts to allow us to get visibility what our employees using. Some of the traffic did not go over HTTP like voice or audio, so it was very technically challenging. And many times, not many times, but quite a few times, the vendor, namely Microsoft or whatever, changed the technology or did modification that suddenly broke our product. Some cases it looked like a dead end for a minute because they are not happy with other vendors intercepting their functionality. So I can say these are events in which I clearly remember, like suddenly all of your business looks like dead. If you won't solve it, you don't have validity. The other problem with the application firewall line of business, it was very mission critical. Once our product did not work, you don't have any communication. You immediately get a phone call from the CEO of that company. It's like very mission critical. These years of the type of product were challenging, I can say. And this is what I like with the AI. So it's very needed. It's not something I try not to rely on other vendors. Like we're independent solution, an independent layer intercepting in between. And this is a much more comfort zone from us. And it's not mission critical. It's important AI, but the business won't fall to the ground if 2 minutes something won't work.
So, Yoav, as you step out on the balcony, you look across all that you've built thus far, what are you most proud of?
So I'm most proud of the team. I think I'm very proud of the team. I'm very proud that with a small company, we managed to achieve 25 Fortune 500. So people don't see it as straightforward for a company our size, like we're around 25 employees. These are things like I walk home and I know I have 25 people that support their families with my salary. We were bootstrapped 12 years, so it's not straightforward to be a bootstrap company. You need to be very calculated on what expensive, what you spend the money on. That's something I'm proud of. The company I built with my own hands from nothing, step by step, without any external finance help. I must say that recently we changed a little bit the philosophy and we incorporated a private investor in the last 6 or 9 months before. And because we felt we need now to move fast. The AI market is so rapidly evolving, we can't do it step by step like we used to do in the past. We feel like we're in the right place with the right team, the right knowledge, the right technology, and we want to hit the market fast to be leaders in our market, which is securing AI.
Yoav, let's flip the script a little bit. Tell me about a mistake you made and how you and your team responded to it.
So I think we're very fast. I think that's something we need to improve. And many times it becomes on the expense of quality. So if I'm honest with myself, our first customers typically suffer, though they like us eventually. But the beginning of the journey typically is painful in many cases. There's a big journey between having a product working in your lab and really being working in production. And many times it happened, sadly, that we did an update and all sorts of things broke. I don't have something specific, but I think that's an area we should improve it because we are very excited always to move fast. And I typically very much like as soon as possible to get customer feedback. Sometimes there's a balance between working fast and working high quality. And I think that's something we need to improve and consider in some scenarios. So it happened more than once in the past that, we did updates and certain things broke, which I regret of. I don't like anything specific in mind right now, but that's something I think was painful more than once.
This episode is sponsored by Unblocked. Your coding agents have access to your code base. Maybe you even connected other tools via MCPs. But access doesn't mean context. Agents can't reason across MCPs. They don't know your architectural decisions, your team's patterns, or why the API was shaped the way it is. So agents look in the wrong place and deliver bad outputs. Then you spend time correcting. More loops, more tokens. Unblocked is the context layer your agents are missing. It synthesizes your PRs, docs, Slack, and tickets into organizational context that agents actually understand. So they make better plans, write higher quality code, use fewer tokens, and require fewer correction loops. If you're running Claude Code, Cursor, or any agentic workflow, Unblocked is worth a look. Learn more at getunblocked.com/codestory. Let's look forward then, Yoav. What does the future look like for Pragatix, the product, for AGAT, for all the things? I know you're excited about all of the changes with AI and the industry and the advancement. Tell me what the future looks like.
I think what's unique about our offerings, so there are companies focusing on security side, there are companies focusing on AI services. We bring the combination. I think it's a unique approach, and I'd like us to be a second name for companies that are looking for secure AI. So whether they want the AI as a service but secure, or they want to secure other AI services, we want to be there. And now, as you probably know and hear a lot, securing AI agents is the next step. And we bring here, I think, and we're not the only one in the market for sure, but I think we bring a nice approach covering all sorts of layers, because we have this proxy for many years that we've been developing with our application firewall before. It's a very robust proxy, so it gives us good visibility of everything employees are doing in the browser, but not only on your development environment, on your machines, if you install anything. So everything is visible, and I want to take the company to the direction more of a leader in the agentic AI security.
Let's switch to you, Yoav. Who influences the way that you work? Name a person or many persons or something you look up to, and why.
I have my partner. There's a theory of, I don't remember the exact name, but 5 hats, different characteristics that you have in the company. So I am wearing, it's called the yellow hat, which is, I think it was yellow, the color. It's more initiative, positive, thinking fast, and a lot of ideas. And my partner is more the conservative, money-wise, contracts, all of these. So I think it's a balance. I'm happy to work with him, and he's certainly being inspiring for me. And the investor, which I feel he prefers to be anonymous because he's a private person, but for me is a big inspiration. Suddenly when he came to my company and he so much believes in us, is something I never felt in the past. Someone so much believing in you. And he did very significant things in the past. Like he went through 2 very big business exits in the past, 9-digit deals. And he always tells me since we met, which is only a year ago, something like this, he always tells me to think big. Think big, work big, you'll become big. And I think for me, he's a very inspiring personality. Without the technicality exactly what to do, but the way he thinks, he pushed me to engage with Gartner and get consultancy from Deloitte and hire a PR agency and things that I never thought in the past to do. We're always very modest and careful, and he pushes me, and I see his achievement, and it gives me confidence to do it the same. And I try to adapt from him the concept, think big, you'll become big. And that's what we're trying to do with the change now that we have an investment and have more freedom with expenses. And I'm excited with this. We're going now to events which we never did. We did things that we never did before.
Last question, Yoav. So you get on a plane and you're sitting next to a young entrepreneur who's built the next big thing. They're jazzed about it. They can't wait to show it off to the world and can't wait to show it off to you right there on the plane. What advice do you give that person, having gone down this road a bit?
What I just said now is advice I would love to share backwards. If you think big, you'll become big. If you believe, you need to believe in yourself, and it will affect your surrounding. That's what I think. If you think positive, things will be positive. I truly believe, without any relation to whether it's a tech youngster or any other opportunist, I strongly believe that thoughts become reality. So if you really believe in what you do and you can envision your future bright and clear and envision yourself becoming a leader in what you're doing, it will happen eventually. It will find a way to become reality. That's my advice. Just believe in yourself strongly and things will happen. It's like when you cycle, for example, also when you surf, by the way, you need to look ahead. It's a very big tip. I keep having mistaken. When I'm surfing, many times I look down at the board and I fall. And it's a very known concept that you need to look to the direction where you want to go. Also, when you go downhill in cycling, instead of looking down, you need to go look ahead. And also in business, in life, if you have a clear direction in front of you, you'll reach there. That's also why I like all of my employees. Every morning, they send me like a daily sprint, what they want to do. It's not about micromanagement. It's about when you have a plan, then it becomes reality. If you don't have any plan, typically you get lost.
Oh, that's fantastic advice. Yoav, thank you for being on the show today. Thank you for telling the creation story of Pragatix, a product of AGAT.
Thank you, Noah, for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you.
And this concludes another chapter of Code Story. Code Story is hosted and produced by Noah Labhart. Be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the podcasting app of your choice. And when you get a chance, leave us a review. Both things help us out tremendously. And thanks again for listening.
What does leadership really look like? On The Power of Advice, a new podcast series from Capital Group, you'll hear from athletes, entrepreneurs, and executives who've led on the field, in the boardroom, and in their communities. It's not about titles. It's about impact. Discover what drives them and the advice they carry forward. Subscribe and start listening today. Published by Capital Client Group, Inc.